To further discuss the latest in this ongoing conflict is Fleur Hassan-Nahoum, Israel's Foreign Ministry Special Envoy and the former Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem. Fleur, good morning to you. Always a pleasure having you here with us on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you.
So, Fleur, we know this conflict is ongoing at this hour. Israeli Defense Forces doing everything they can to eradicate this terroristic organization, Hezbollah, all while dealing with Hamas still at this hour, trying to get those hostages out of captivity, also dealing with a conflict with Yemen's Houthi rebels. If you could catch us up, please.
Absolutely. It sounds almost like we're in another universe, but Israel is fighting a war on at least 7, if not 8 fronts at the moment. The Lebanon war started on the 8th of October when Hezbollah started throwing rockets at Israel completely unprovoked and for no apparent territorial or any other claim. They came to help their friends in Hamas, possibly pushed by the Iranian regime. And we find ourselves almost a year later, 10,000 rockets later, finally, Israel is saying we need to clean out the terrorists that have settled themselves amongst civilians and have taken over the whole of southern Lebanon in order to attack Israel. No other reason, in order to attack Israel. And so Israel has to dismantle that threat the way we're going to have to, and we have been dismantling the Hamas threat in Gaza. We have no other choice. This is existential. We have 70,000 Israelis who are not living in their homes at the moment. They've been evacuated from the northern border to Lebanon because it's untenable for them to live there under a barrage of rockets. Yesterday, we had 50 more rockets in Haifa and other northern towns. And so any sovereign country would say, enough is enough. You're attacking our country for absolutely no reason, completely unprovoked. We need to get our territorial integrity back. We need to push the terrorists back, if not dismantle them completely.
Well, Fleur, in real time, IDF is working to push those terrorists back, but there's concern about the manpower. Does Israel have enough manpower as they are being attacked from all sides?
Well, unfortunately, we've had to have not just a standing army. We have conscription in our country for men and women, but we also have an incredible reservist army, which means that most men who fought in combat units or even intelligence units can get called up to do reserve duty. We have thousands, tens of thousands of reserve soldiers who have families, who have regular jobs, and who've given everything up for the last year to fight for their country. And so Israel does have the manpower. We also have the technology and we have the determination because we have no other choice. Anything else is an existential genocide against us. And unfortunately, since the beginning of our history, since 1947, when an existential war was launched by all the Arab countries around us, also in 48, also in 67, also in 73, we always have to have our eyes on defending ourselves because we don't have the luxury for a second here of keeping our eyes off the ball. We did for a few hours, and look what happened down in the south in the Gaza envelope with Gaza.
As we discuss this ongoing conflict, we know the U.S. has been very vocal as it relates to how Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been responding to this conflict. I know recently there has been the request of more aid and military power from the U.S., but at the same time, Netanyahu is saying that as it relates to retaliation to Iran, the U.S. will not have the final say on that. Israel will have the final say. Can you talk about the controversy that surrounds U.S. and Israeli relations as it relates to this conflict, please?
Well, you can always have arguments amongst friends and you can have disagreements amongst friends. And ultimately, Israel has one obligation. The Israeli government has one obligation, and that is to defend and ensure the security of its people. And it will have to go to any lengths, even if it has to fight alone to do that. And so if it is retaliation on Iran for throwing almost 200 ballistic missiles to a country that could have essentially, without our air defenses, could have destroyed the country completely, then Israel has to do what it needs to do, fighting on that front too, in order to dismantle the threat to us that is the Islamic Republic of Iran. But I want to remind everyone that they are not just a threat to the state of Israel, they're a threat to the free world. They have empowered and they have funded at least 6 proxies. They are also funding Islamic fundamentalist radicalism in Western countries, in the US including, in Europe. And so what I believe the world has to understand is that the Islamic Republic of Iran does not just threaten its own people, the region, but it threatens the world. And we're waiting for the moment when the big powers in the West, in the free world, understand that there's only one way forward, and that is dismantling the Islamic Republic of Iran so that the Iranian people can have a free and fair society, not under Islamic jihadi subjugation, which is how they live today.
Fleur, I know the Israeli community, they are holding on to hope and strength at this hour. Many out there celebrating the high holiday. What has been the emotional mood out there celebrating the holiday also while looking in the sky and seeing airstrikes in real time? What has it been like for you and residents in the area?
Well, it's really been the worst year that I can remember. Certainly in our generation, in the state of Israel, there hasn't been a worse year, even though we've been involved in many wars, because the trauma that we all are experiencing is ongoing. As long as the hostages, amongst them, a 1.5-year-old baby, as long as they're not home, there is an ongoing trauma. There is an open wound that we cannot even begin to start to heal. So yes, we're a country traumatized, but we are resilient and we're determined. And many people, and this is what some of our holidays celebrate actually, many people, many big nations and empires have tried to eliminate the Jewish people. And we're still here because we have that determination, we have that resilience, we're strong, and we have each other. And thankfully today we also have many allies around the world.
Fleur, always a pleasure to speak with you here on Live Now. We appreciate your candidness and your passion for this topic. I thank you so much. I hope you have a safe and enjoyable rest of your day.
Thank you, God bless.
I want to give you another live look out in Beirut, Lebanon, as we further discuss